Okay, so don't mind my ratchet setup, but uh, nobody asked for this, but I wanted to make a video ranking my IB subjects, or like the IB subjects that our school has to offer. And so shout out to my friends who I asked for input on how they felt about their subject choices. And so yeah, on my laptop, I made like a tier list thing. And if you don't know what the IB is, basically there's 6 groups of subjects and you choose one from each group, except for group 6, which is the arts. So you do 6 subjects, 3 at higher level, 3 at standard level. And then you can swap an art subject for any of the other groups. If you don't get it, I'll just put up a picture here and basically you choose your subjects based on the group that you get the point. Okay, basically you choose 6 subjects to do at the last 2 years of high school. And so yeah. Okay, let's get started. First subject is psychology. So Chris took, shout out to Chris. Okay, I'll link all their instas below and you can follow, give my friends a follow if anyone is even watching this video. Okay, Chris took psychology SL. And oh, disclaimer, take this video with a grain of salt because May 21, I'm May 21, and November 21 exam session kids cohort, we had amendments to our course curriculum because of the coronavirus, and so some papers were taken out, some stuff was shortened, and yeah, there was just amendments to our exams, and so this is not the typical what IB would be. Okay, so we're starting off with psychology. So shout out to Chris. Chris took Psych SL. And for Psych, they cancelled paper 2. I don't know what that means. So they only did 3 main units and the content is easy to understand, but there are a lot of studies to remember. He said, honestly, I shouldn't have done Psych though, but for people who like Psych, it will be good. So he also said that Psych is good for TOK, and TOK is basically like a philosophy class that everyone who does the IBDP has to take. And out of 10, he rated a 6. Okay, we're gonna add a little segment because got some input from Psych HL, Psychology, higher level. This is from Bethia. She said, Bio and Psych are probably the 2 most content-heavy subjects. I will not sugarcoat, haha. And it seems their exams are always scheduled around the same time too. Death emoji. So for Psych, in terms of content, it's basically learning about 1. Psychological theories, 2. Studies as evidence to support the theories, 3. Research methods, 4. Ethics, 5. Critical thinking. Which is basically evaluating all of the above. So for the exams, they are heavily essay-based. Okay, so basically when exams are essay-based, they're pretty subjective and not like math. It's not like there's a definite answer, and so yeah. You'll study the core approaches, which is biological, cognitive, and socio-cultural approach, with some additional HL extensions, and then 2 additional options unit. For example, abnormal psychology, health psychology, etc. This is all for HL, so I don't know about Chris's SL stuff, but yeah. And so Bethia says, revising for psychology is pretty much making essay plans on all the possible questions that could come up. There is a lot. And memorizing them because there isn't a lot of time in the exam to think. So it's another memorizing subject. I don't know how good that is for you if you like memorizing. I personally just can't memorize for my life. And she said it's her favorite IB class, because psychology classes in our school are typically really small, and she had a good teacher. And the subject lends itself to really engaging discussions, and since psych is looking at human behavior, you'll find a lot of real-life applications that make remembering things and learning content a lot easier. I'm just quoting everything that she's saying, just saying. There are lots of different ways to learn psych. For example, group projects, fishbowl debate, don't know what that means, documentaries, replicating experiments in class, and flipped classroom model, making neuron art, TEDx lessons. I don't know what any of this is, so funny. She says, I don't know if it's worth doing such a content-heavy subject as an SL. It will definitely take up some time, but I'd still say go for it if psych is something that really interests you, or aligns with your university or career goals. And it will definitely inform or change your view of behavior and life in general. So I guess that ties into what Chris said, and that psychology really helps with TOK because of the real-life examples and the ethics discussion part that overlaps TOK and psychology. So yeah, just thought I'd add that little segment in. So I think I'm gonna put psych in the meh, in the middle. You know, not too bad, not great. Okay, next is visual arts. So I took visual art, higher level. Chris took visual art, higher level. Gwen also took visual arts, higher level. And honestly, looking back, I wouldn't change it. I would still take visual arts if I were in year 11 going into year 12. Because, one, there is no final exam. But here's the thing, everyone thinks that people who take art are taking the easy way out because there's no exam. Let me tell you. There is so much work that you have to do, and you have to constantly be hardworking throughout the year. You can't just slack off and, like, at the end, cram 10 artworks in the span of 2 months. Like, that's just not possible. And so when people say that taking art is the easy way out, it really isn't, because we have to maintain our art coursework while we're doing our IAs and EEs and writing everything else. And so, okay, IAs are like independent in something assessments, and you basically do like your own research and then you write like a research findings or whatever. And then EE is a 4,000 word essay, and you do it on a topic of choice, and you just write a 4,000 word essay on, it's like a research paper as well, but longer. Yeah. Okay. And so we have to do all that in the span of 2 years, well, 1.5 years. And then we also have to maintain our art coursework. So the workload is bloody heavy, and it isn't easy, but you will get through it. So art, I'd say it's I. It also very heavily depends on your teacher, and luckily me, Chris, and Gwen, we got a good teacher for our DP art course. Even though, if she's watching, I'm so sorry. She was very pushy, but that was a good thing, because she pushed us to our limits, and ultimately we produced high quality works. So yeah. Okay, next subject is business management. So shout out to Gwen. I'm asking Gwen about business. Let me just find the chat. Okay, so for business management, Gwen took it at a higher level, and she said, business is so fun if you enjoy it, and no business like the back of your hand. Okay, whatever that means. She says it's kind of like bio and econ mixed together. You need to memorize, but application is also key. And the finance paper is easy once you get the hang of it. However, business management is very subjective when you do the actual exam. And so it's hard to actually gain the marks in the paper. But something good about that is that the grade boundary is normally low. So take it how you like it, you know. I wish if I didn't take art HL, I probably would have taken business HL, so yeah. She got 7s. I think most people get 7s in business. I mean, like, most people that I know who take business. So, I'm gonna put that at 7s all day. Okay, econ. I personally took econ HL, so I'm gonna talk about this. Econ is... I'd say I enjoyed econ HL throughout the whole of IB. And I had a good teacher for econ. And the IAs were, I wouldn't say they were easy, but they were a lot more, I wouldn't say fun to do, but they were a lot more doable than the science group 4 IAs. And group 4 IAs is just death. And econ, I've been getting 6s and high 6s and 7s the whole of year 12 to 13, because I did GCSE econ, so the start of year 12 econ was like a breeze, honestly. And so econ is like the subject that I'm expecting a 7 from. So yeah, for that reason I'm gonna put it at 7s all day. I really like econ, and yeah, I'm going on to do business / econ in college, so makes sense. Okay, the next subject is a group 2 subject, language acquisition, Mandarin B. So I personally took Mandarin B higher level because my Chinese is not good enough to take Chinese A, which is like native language. I don't know. I couldn't even take ASL because I'm just too So I took Mandarin B HL, and honestly, I wasn't even getting 7s. I was getting 6s the whole of year 12. And they took away the listening paper for the exams, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because my listening was quite good. Like, my listening papers, before we knew that they were cancelled, we were doing practices, and they were fine. So yeah, so in the end we only had the reading, writing, and the IA, which is your oral assessment. And everything was fine. My oral was like a bit bad because my pronunciation sucks in Mandarin. Because at home I speak Cantonese, I don't speak Mandarin. So it was kind of weird. And reading is normally fine for me. And writing, our teacher pushed us to do a lot of writing. So I guess I improved throughout time. So I'd say Mandarin B it's I. There are people in my school who are Chinese who take Mandarin B standard level, and they think it's like piss easy, and they get 7s all day. So yeah. Okay, group 4 subjects. Bio. So Joseph, Ernie, and Gwen all took Bio HL. Joseph said, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the hardest, he'd say Bio is like an 8. He said, Bio, there's just a ton of stuff to learn, so it's probs the most content-heavy subject out of everything. And then Ernie said, Bio HL is a pain in the ass. Also boring AF, unless you into plants and stuff. And he also said the IA for Bio is very hard. So basically, I think, from what I hear from people, or what I see in my school, the people who take Bio HL are normally the people who want to go into medicine, like go to med school, or they want to be dentists, or they want to work in a health-related profession. And Gwen is the only person I know in our school who wants to go into business and do marketing, but she chose Bio HL, which is kind of weird, if I do say so myself. And they're also dying right now, because the bio exam is in like, what, 5 days? And I finished all my exams, so yeah. Bio is just a lot of memorizing, and their textbook is flippin' thick. So yeah, I'd say take Bio HL only if you want to be in a health-related profession, because you really have to memorize so much, from what I see my friends doing. So yeah, for Bio, okay, from Gwen's perspective, as a non-future health profession person, I put it as hashtag regrets. Bio SL, people say it's piss easy, but I don't know. I don't have the experience, and I'm honestly not good at any science, so yeah. Chemistry. So Joseph and Ernie both took Chem HL. They're both going to a health-related profession, so yeah, they kind of have to. Chem HL. Joseph said, "Don't listen to Ernie for Chem. He's too OP at Chem." And on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the hardest, he'd say Chem is 6 to 7 difficulty. And then he also said, Chem is not that content heavy, and it's about recognizing patterns and has a bit of math in it. He generally thinks that Chem is quite a good science, whatever that means. Okay, now on to Ernie. Ernie also took HL Chem, and he thinks Chem HL is so fun. That's all he said. So, amazing. Great. Okay, now we're gonna hear from Mavis. Mavis took Chem SL. She says, "I think if you took IGCSE, CIE Chem, or single award Chem, or single award Science in GCSE, it'll probably be quite easy because it's a lot of repeat from the GCSE single award syllabus." She also thinks that it's relatively easier compared to other subjects because it's very direct. And you just have to remember the buzzwords of what you need to write for the answers and you'll be fine. So generally I think Chem is fine for people. Like, I haven't heard a lot of people complaining about Chem, and Joseph and Ernie both get 7s in Chem. I don't know about Mavis. I think Mavis also gets 7s in Chem, so it's like a subject, so I'm gonna put it at it's I. Like, I haven't heard that many people complain about Chem. So yeah. Okay, DT, Design Technology. Chris took DT, and he took DT-SL. I think he was the only person in our whole school to take DT-SL. Okay, he said, for DT it's 90% theory and 10% practical, and it has a combination of bio, physics, and business. He said the DT exam is mostly supposed to be common sense, but the mark scheme is very tight with answers, so it's hard to get the marks, which could be like a downside. And it's also a subject where it's really dependent on your teacher, but he recommends people to take DT. Like, it's quite fun, and you get to make like an actual product out of it. And I don't know much about DT. I don't know that many people who take DT in our year. I haven't heard people complaining about it either, so it's also it's I. Or maybe it could be 7s all day, but I don't know what people get in DT, so I'm not going to say that for now. Okay, ESS, which stands for Environmental Systems and Societies. Eric took ESS, so shout out to Eric. He said, honestly, I think ESS had a lot of course content to cover because it spans bio and some concepts from politics, etc. So basically not as easy as people think, but IMO, the stuff is interesting, defo more than sciences. Now, Eric he originally chose physics as his group 4 subject. Oh, also ESS is a group 3 and a group 4 subject, so you can choose whichever one you want it to fill, which is quite good. And he originally chose physics, and we were in the same class. But then, he was like, nah, physics ain't it for me. I'm dropping to ESS. And basically there's this like stigma in our school, or maybe not in our school, in the whole IB community, that ESS is for stupid people. I mean, I can't really say anything because I'm pretty stupid myself. But yeah, ESS is known to be like a weird subject. Okay, we can also hear from Ryan. Ryan, shout out to Ryan. Ryan took ESS as well. He said, process of elimination. So he just chose it because it was the last one he had to fill. He says, ESS is interesting, but the content feels a bit random. Because there's a lot of different like, topic 1 is on views on environment and different philosophies on dealing with environmental issues. Then like topic 4 is soil. topic 6 is about water cycles, and then topic 8 is about how you deal with solid domestic waste, which is the fancy word for trash. So he says it's pretty random, but it's kind of interesting. So I'd say if you really don't like any of the physics, chemistry, bio, the natural sciences, I'd say taking ESS is quite a good shout, you know? And most people get 7s, 6s, 7s, high grades. So I'd put ESS as a meh, because it's also like it's known to be like a down bearish subject. And I just realized that I've not put anything in. I should have done A levels. Next, group 1 subjects. So our school, everyone who does IBDP takes English A, so like the native level English, and you choose either literature or language and literature. So myself, I did English literature standard level, and honestly, thank the lords that IB decided to pull paper 2. Paper 2 is set text, so there's like a question, and it's based on a book that you studied throughout the course, and then you actually have to remember the quotes and because like you're not allowed to take the book inside, are you? And so we only had paper 1, which is the unseen. So this year for lit, normally you get a poem or a prose and you choose whichever one you want to do analysis on. And I normally choose the prose because I failed English lit doing a poem in year 11, so and then, so yeah, basically there's normally a poem and a prose, but this year there was a play and a prose, there was no poem. So people were like freaking out. They were like, what the hell? Why was there no poem? And some people only revise for poems because normally there's always a poem, but there's not always a prose. The prose could be a play. So yeah. Like, English for me was fine. Throughout the year we just did analysis, like unseen papers, and it was fine. I mean, I can't regret it, you know, it's like a requirement in our school, so I'd say it's a meh subject. I don't know about the HL lit and how it goes, but yeah, I don't have any friends who do HL lit. I'm gonna skip math for now, and I'm just gonna go on to talk about English language and literature. So Joseph, Gwen, Ernie, they all took standard level English language and literature, and then Chris, I think Eric also took higher level English language and literature. And basically, for SL, let me just pull up what they said. Okay, so Gwen says that if you like looking at more like images, visuals, colors, and analyzing adverts, websites and stuff, you should probably take language and literature. Because it's more, in year 12 they called it more fun, because you get to do more visual stuff and it's not all paper, words on paper. And then, however, the exam this year, everyone started complaining after, especially Spencer. He kept saying that the tandoori chicken extract, I don't know what they're talking about, the tandoori chicken extract was really hard, and I don't know, they just said the exam this year was hard in general, which I don't understand because I took lit and I thought the exam was fine, even though some people were complaining that there was no poem. And I don't know, English is sort of a subject where it's like, I've never gotten a 7. Like, it's just not attainable for me because my language skills are just not there. And then for Chris, he took a higher level language and literature, and what he said is basically standard level gets to choose between 2 extracts. Like, you choose one to do the analysis on in 1 hour and 15 minutes, and then higher level you just do both. Like, standard level you choose one out of the 2, and higher level you do both. So you do 2 essays in 2 hours and 15 minutes. And Chris said it was fine, so I guess it was fine. So English is language and literature, a meh subject. Okay, I don't know why the camera cut out, but yeah. Physics was #regrets. And I don't have to say anything more. It's just bad. And then Jason, shout out to Jason, he took physics HL, and I don't know, he's just built different, has a different sized brain compared to me. He's just smart, so he thought physics was fine. And honestly, if you don't need physics HL as a subject requirement to apply for university, I would not advise you to do it. Unless you like physics a lot, which I don't. And there's like a myth that people say that if you're good at math, you'll be good at physics. In what world? No. Yeah, physics was just not it. Okay, now we're talking about math. So math is one of those subjects where you can't escape. And IB also did not remove any components from math. Like, there was no change to the syllabus. So you do 2 papers. Well, okay, I'm going to talk about analysis and approaches first, because I did that. Math analysis and approaches, I don't know what's the difference between AA and AI. AI stands for applications and interpretation. But, yeah, I don't know what's the difference, but I just know in AI math, you get a calculator, like a GDC, for both of your papers. But for math analysis, you only get the GDC for your second paper. So first paper is non-calculator. Like, completely no calculator. Everything mental math. I took math analysis standard level, and I thought it was fine. Like, math was always like, I was hovering between 6s and 7s, and I'd say, like, it's fine. It's just, there's sometimes just questions that I don't even know where to start on, and it's one of those moments where it's like, if you know it, you know it. If you don't, you just don't know it. It's not gonna come to you, you know? So, yeah, and math is one of those subjects with really high grade boundaries, because bloody everyone gets a 7, but I don't think I'm gonna get a 7 in the final exam, because I missed out this whole section, because I literally didn't know where to start. I was just staring at that paper for so long. And yeah, okay, hearing from someone different. Jason took math analysis higher level, and he says math AAHL needs a lot of practice because you need to expose yourself to different types of questions or else you can't solve them. Workload level is like level 10, so the max, more than physics HL, so it will easily be the subject that you invest the most time into if you want a 7. And he said he would honestly only recommend people to take math HL if you had to for your subject requirements. So let's say you're doing engineering, or you're doing finance and accounting in the UK. Those subjects, you probably need higher math, and that's the only situation where he would recommend people to take higher math, because honestly, the math I've seen in higher level math is not math. There are hardly any numbers. It's all like weird. So personally, because I took SL math, I'd say, okay, it's a stretch saying that it's 7s all day, but I'm gonna say it's 7s all day. Like, it's not bad at all. The workload for SL was not much at all. We never got homework. Okay, last subject, math applications and interpretation. So I asked Eric about this, and so there is a myth that math AIHL is a lot easier than AAHL, and that just math AIHL doesn't get the recognition for being higher level math, because most people just think of higher level math as people who take AAHL, so analysis HL. But Eric says, I think AIHL is deceptively hard. Like, people shouldn't choose it because they think it's easier than AA, because it's not. So I don't know anything about it. People say that math AISL is like the new math studies, which is like piss easy math. But like, I don't really know. And math AI, I've heard a lot of people complaining about it. Also, because it's a new syllabus, there aren't really past papers for it, so it's really hard to anticipate what they're going to ask in the real exam because you only have the specimen papers from the IB. I'd say math, AI. If you took SL, it would be 7s all day. Well, if you're like at a high, you're performing at a high level for math. Low-key regrets, but like, let's put it at meh. Okay, so this video is flipping long. And I just ranked all the subjects that I knew friends who took them. What? Okay, so yeah, this is the final list of how I would rank IB subjects. And honestly, if I had to do IB again, which I wouldn't, never again, I would probably not change anything. I'd probably still do the same subject combination. But that was also taken into account that we had stuff taken out. So yeah, I guess we had it easier than most people who take IB. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I hope this helped anyone who's watching this who's about to take the IB or just started the IB, that it helped them, but yeah, this is how I would rank IB subjects. See ya, until next time.